Welcome to week 3 of our course. This week, we're continuing to look at issues of authors and agencies, and also on some broader issues of how meaning is created. I thought that I'd take a few minutes to cover some basic concepts that might help you better understand our readings. First, a text is any device that enables the communication of some form of meaning. Obviously, a play, poem, novel, or short story are commonly regarded as text, and many readers spend many hours trying to understand the text associated with literature. Other devices could be considered text too, such as memos, newspapers, greeting cards, and movies. Less obvious text might include maps, architecture, food, and clothing. What's important to keep in mind about text is that the same tools that we use to interpret and analyze literature can be used in non-literary situations. For instance, an instructor standing in front of a classroom can be considered a text. We look at the instructor for cues in order to establish the instructor's significance in relationship to us, the students. Questions that we might ask include whether the instructor reads from notes or speaks extemporaneously, how the instructor is dressed, or how the instructor moves in the classroom space. Now, for a long time, most readers assumed that a text is a reflection of an author's intent, that a text expresses an author's interest, information, wishes, etc. In the first half of the 20th century, an American movement developed that wanted to both democratize reading and turn literary studies into a scientific mode of inquiry. This movement, called the New Criticism, believed that all that is necessary to know a text is contained within a text itself, that a reader didn't have to address any concerns about the text author, as it would be difficult, if not impossible, to validate any specific attributions to this agency. This is what Wibsam and Beardsley meant by the intentional fallacy, that we cannot assume an author's understanding of the text in our own interpretations. Similarly, the new critics were distrustful of our responses as readers, believing that it is mistaken to associate a text meaning with the feelings and thoughts that it might generate as we read. Wibsam and Beardsley refer to this as the affective fallacy. So where does meaning lie? For the new critics, meaning is embedded in the text that we read, and all that we need to do to understand a text is to read closely enough and thoughtfully enough for us to receive its significance. This notion has teaching significance, as instructors only have to rely on the words of the text for instruction, and students don't have to have extensive training in history, linguistics, biography, or other areas to appreciate literature. For the new critics, meaning was a stable ideal that was part of the language that we read. What's interesting is how the new critics shifted authority away from the author, and note the similarity in these two word forms, and onto the text. But don't forget that there are other possible sites of authority too, such as the reader, the culture in which the text is produced or consumed, economic considerations, or political influence. What we're doing these initial weeks is exploring some alternatives to the author as a sole authority and meaning. I hope that this helps. Please take care.